Once upon a time, airport lounges used to be pretty exclusive. Not everyone could afford to have access to them. Now, there are never ending queues outside these very lounges. So, what happened? Did everyone suddenly get rich? Nope. Did a lot of people get credit cards? Yes. In the last 5 years, the number of credit cards that have been issued has nearly doubled to 85 million. This is as of March 2023 based on RBI data. And credit card companies, as we all know, are in a rush to sell more and more credit cards. And to do this, they use a whole gamut of attractive offers. And one of the most popular ones is giving free access to airport lounges. Last year, airport lounges saw a footfall of over 8 million people. So, what was once exclusive became a top selling feature, even for non premium cards issued by banks. In fact, the lounge access freebie became such a top selling point for banks that they actually started setting up kiosks selling credit cards right outside these airport lounges. You must have noticed them while traveling. But last year, we heard news that Axis Bank, which is the country's fourth largest credit card issuer, revised its lounge policy. The bank was like, no more free access to lounges past the immigration point for non premium card holders. So, what do you think could have happened? Turns out, this whole free airport lounge access is coming back to bite the banks. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your host Nigdha Sharma, and I don't chase the news cycle. Instead, every day of the week, my colleague Rahel Philippos and I will come to you with one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Originally, it was card networks like Visa and MasterCard who were footing the bill for offering airport lounges as a premium perk. But there were differences between the lounge benefits offered by the two networks. Now, because banks want to give a uniform access experience to their users, they decided to take the cost of offering this benefit. This was told to the Ken's Arundhati Ramanathan by a senior executive at a lounge provider. So, in 2019 and 2020, many banks switched to footing most of the bill on their own. And because the card on which users make travel related spends is bound to be the primary card for the customer, travel was a key spend to capture for credit card issuers. But domestic air traffic has been growing at an unprecedented speed. It has risen by almost 60% to 10 million people in February 2023. This increase in the number of air travelers, especially post pandemic, means credit card holders are overusing their lounge access. Plus, more and more Indians now have credit cards, and most of them even have more than one. That is why it is not rare to see cardholders these days whipping out multiple cards at the concierge to check which one gives them free access to the lounge. But all this is not going down well for the banks. Stay tuned to find out more. So, banks pay about 800 rupees for every domestic lounge access to lounge providers such as Dreamfolks. And for an international lounge access, they pay around 1500 rupees. Now, because of how popular this freebie has become, for banks, not only did it become a pain, but it also became very costly. But banks can't just give out something like this one day and take it away the next. So they are taking tiny baby steps in restricting lounge access for non premium credit card holders. Take Axis Bank, for example. It made quite a smart cost cutting move by doing away with free lounge access beyond the immigration point for people who do not have a premium credit card. Axis Bank's president and head of cards and payments, Sanjeev Moghe, told Arundhati that the bank took this step because there was duplication in domestic and international access in many cases. He explained it by saying that if you're at an airport where both lounges are present, the customer can go to the domestic one. India's largest private lender, HDFC Bank, though, realized this much sooner. In 2021, it increased its free lounge access from 18 to 50 for non-premium credit card holders. But just a few months later, it went back to offering only 18. You see, when you use a credit card, your rewards and loyalty spends are basically linked to your spending on the card. These are financed by the merchant discount rate that the banks charge. A credit card senior executive at a private bank that we spoke to even called this problem alarming. Just about 3 to 5 years ago, banks were spending only around 10 basis points of the total product cost on lounges. That spiked to 25 basis points. It became their single largest feature cost. It was a matter of concern indeed. In the next segment, I will tell you just how much banks have to pay for giving people free lounge access at airports. Stay tuned. To get a better sense of why this backfired on banks in the first place, Arundhati decided to look at the financials of Dreamfolks, the country's largest lounge provider. In the year that ended in March 2023, the company saw a 174% jump in its revenue compared to just a year ago. A senior executive at a lounge provider told us that nearly 40% of a bank's credit card portfolio is given free lounge access. But interestingly, only up to 5% of the cards actually see lounge usage. He told us about those who hold cards like IDFC First Bank's Select or ICICI Bank's Platinum card, where they pay little to no fees for the product. He said that these people use lounges on average about 0.5 times a year. But these types of users make up 60% of the card base. And this drives up the cost for banks. And it hits them where it hurts the most, when customers do not make any spends on these cards, but they only use these cards for lounge access. Naturally, banks have realized what is going on, and a few of them are set to make bigger changes in the way that they provide this benefit. But like I said earlier, you cannot give out a freebie like this and suddenly snatch it away. It might cost the banks dearly. It is too risky. Even a large credit card issuer like ICICI Bank is hesitating to take away this feature entirely. So, lounges won't go away, but conditions will be imposed to rationalize lounge spend. The senior lounge executive told the Ken that the top banks are going to move to spend-based lounge access over the next 1 year. Nothing will be available for free anymore. With this, banks hope to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, to make lounges great again, and 2, to flush out all the freeloaders from their card base. But as you can imagine, banks are walking on eggshells with this one. Like Arundhati says, in the end, all it will take is one bank to come down hard on this, and most will follow suit. The question is, which bank is it going to be?
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of the Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. To subscribe, head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on top of the Ken website. Today's episode was hosted by Snigdha Sharma and edited by Rajiv CN.